go ahead and file the divorce papers." "I don't need the kids," he said, walking out the door, leaving me with our 3-year-old twins and our newborn daughter. I had my suspicions about his infidelity, but between parenting and work, I pushed them aside. I can't take this anymore. My twin daughters clung to me, their little faces full of worry. "Mommy, I love you," they said. In that moment, something inside me shifted. Despite my anger, I found clarity. "Fine, let's do it," I said, signing the divorce papers without a second thought. A bitter smile crept across my face. He has no idea what's coming. After all the support I've given him, he's the one who'll regret this. And so, unknowingly, he started his downfall. "I'll be late again tonight." How many times had I heard those words? I'm Maya, 34 years old. We married 4 years ago, and I spoiled him a bit, probably because he's 2 years younger. The next year, we had twin daughters, and 3 years later, our third daughter arrived. Around the time she was born, he began coming home late, constantly. He used to say, "I hope the third one's a boy. I want to play catch with him." He was excited during the pregnancy, but everything changed when he found out it was a girl. At the hospital, he frowned when he saw our newborn daughter. "She doesn't look like me. She's not cute." Anger surged through me. How could he say that about his own child? What kind of father says that? I think that's when I first considered divorce. Even after we came home, his mood didn't improve. As my maternity leave was ending, he barely helped with the kids. "Show some interest in them," I told him. "If you're overwhelmed, hire a babysitter. You have savings," he replied. I had a solid job at a top company, earning more than most women my age. Meanwhile, he was constantly changing jobs, struggling to hold one down. Maybe he resented my success. At the time, he was doing temporary work, and I worried about how long that would last. Since I couldn't count on financial support, I at least hoped he would step up as a father. But when I asked him to spend time with the kids, he complained, "It's too much work." Even when he did help, it was half-hearted and the girls were bored. He noticed they didn't like him much, and it bothered him. This pattern continued until one day, he just stopped helping altogether. "I'm tired from work. I need my weekends to rest." He'd either shut himself in his room or go out with someone else. Today, I had to work, even though it was the weekend. "I'm stuck if you don't watch the kids. I have things to do. Bye." He refused to watch them. I couldn't leave them alone, so I often had to find a babysitter last minute. This was tearing our marriage apart and hurting the kids, so I decided to consult with his parents. Their response was disappointing. "A wife must endure. That's the key. And don't forget to take care of what I mentioned the other day." My parents live far away, so I rarely see them. I didn't feel comfortable calling them and didn't know who else to turn to. "Hey, make me some food." I came home one evening to find my husband in pajamas, the room a mess. The only bright spot was seeing my kids, bored with their toys, light up with big smiles when they saw me. "Where were you so late?" "I had some errands at your parents' house." "Now hurry up and make dinner. I'm starving." "If you've been home all day, couldn't you have done the laundry or cleaned the bathroom?" He smirked at my question. I've decided not to do anything for people who don't show proper gratitude. "What do you mean?" "I cleaned the bathroom yesterday, and you didn't even thank me." I'm sure I said thank you. "Not that kind of thank you. I'm talking about $200 as a thank you." He held out his hand, asking for money. I was too tired and frustrated to argue, so I called him to the bathroom to talk away from the kids. "I do everything, work, house chores, and take care of the kids. Haven't you ever thanked me?" It's a wife's duty. And what's your duty? I work too. Despite earning only $1,000 a month and doing nothing at home, he still had the audacity to demand more. We argued for an hour. Mommy, I'm hungry. My daughter's voice pulled me back to reality. My husband stormed off, but I ignored him and hurried to make dinner. In the tense atmosphere, I uncovered his secret. My husband was having an affair. I confided in a colleague I've known since college. She had also divorced because of her husband's infidelity. You should gather evidence right away, she advised, sharing tips on how to do it. I had suspected something for a while. Just before our youngest was born, I noticed a sweet scent on him that wasn't familiar. Were you wearing perfume? I asked casually. He started sweating and stammered. There were other signs: late nights, less conversation, his distance from the kids, and a lack of intimacy. But one incident confirmed it for me. There was lip balm in your jacket pocket. It's mine. My lips get chapped. Are you using Channel's pink lip balm? Oh, well, maybe it's my mom's. His awkward excuse sounded like a lie. As he rushed to the bathroom, I saw it. What's that? It was a love bite in a spot usually covered by clothes. I almost confronted him, but decided I needed proof first. Take your time in the bath, I said, pretending not to notice. The next day, I got home late from work and found my daughters already asleep. The house was quiet except for the light in the dining room, where my husband stood holding a piece of paper. I've had enough. Let's get a divorce. What? You want a divorce? And you don't want the kids? He handed me the papers and walked out before I could respond. Mommy, the twins woke up from the sound of the door, looking worried. It's okay. Sorry for waking you, I reassured them, though things were far from okay. He says he's had enough. That's my line. And he doesn't want the kids. How could he? Tears flowed as emotions overwhelmed me, but I barely noticed. Mommy, I love you, my daughter said, hugging me tightly. At that moment, I knew I couldn't keep living like this. I couldn't let my daughters carry this burden. If I only had them, I'd find happiness. I finally knew what I needed to do. Fine. Let's file the papers. I said it with determination, and my daughters smiled. That night, we all slept peacefully. The next morning, I submitted the divorce papers and made a call. Yes, go ahead. It's my husband who's going to be in trouble. The person on the other end listened and acted. I'd thought about this for a while. If my husband betrayed me, I'd make sure everything he'd done came crashing down, even if it meant his life would fall apart. No regrets. 3 days later, Maya, where were you? I came home from work to find my parents-in-law and husband waiting. My mother-in-law was angry, my father-in-law looked pale, and my husband seemed completely clueless. Did you wait outside the door the entire time? That's unsettling. This isn't the time for that. What's going on? She shoved a letter at me. It's a notice from a lawyer. It's pretty clear if you read it. Her face flushed red and her voice grew louder. I have to pick up the girls, so if you'll excuse me. I walked into the house, ignoring them. My furious in-laws followed me into the living room, insisting we talk. Why did you send this out of the blue? We don't understand. You'll get it when you read the letter. Using a lawyer is cowardly. Even though they were in the wrong, they quickly tried to flip the situation. Frustrated, I struggled to explain. Finally, my clueless husband chimed in. Is this because you're unhappy with the divorce and filing a complaint? My in-laws stared at him, shocked. Of course, he had no idea about everything I had done for them over the years. We never heard about a divorce. Is that why this is happening? Our son is completely useless. What's the rush? You've ruined everything. Hold on. What's going on? As their conversation went in circles, my mother-in-law slammed the table. "Why did you divorce, Maya?" "Ah, well," my husband stammered, caught off guard. So I stepped in. Because he completely neglected his responsibilities as a husband and father. "You keep saying men are like that, right? Would you forgive your father-in-law for cheating then?" "What?" Clearly, she wasn't expecting me to mention her son's infidelity. My husband tried to speak, but a sharp look from me stopped him. Suddenly, my father-in-law defended his son. "A man's affair is just a game. It's not a big deal. Arguing is pointless. Please leave. Any further communication will go through my lawyer." "Why involve a lawyer now? You'll agree to the divorce, right?" My husband looked confused. "I've not only agreed, but I've already filed the papers." "What, then why?" As my husband and I argued, my mother-in-law started crying. "How can you expect me to pay $39,500 all at once? What's with that amount? Who's getting paid?" Finally, the moment I'd been waiting for arrived. I revealed my secret with confidence. 4 years ago, just after we got married, my mother-in-law asked to talk. "I need to discuss something." Nervous, I agreed to listen, thinking I'd do anything for my new mother-in-law. But her request shocked me. "Can you lend me $40,000? I was completely blindsided. She even asked about my annual income without any hesitation, leaving me stunned. I couldn't handle the pressure and blurted out my earnings. Maybe over $165,000. Her eyes lit up. Apparently, my father-in-law had become addicted to horse racing, blowing through money and racking up debt. She begged me, desperate for $40,000 to repay the debt, and I couldn't refuse. I made it clear, "You must pay me back," before lending her the money. 4 years went by, and she only paid back $2,600. Sometimes she'd return some money, only to borrow it again. Realizing I'd never see the full amount, I hired a lawyer to demand the remaining $39,500. My husband's shocked expression almost made me laugh. "I promised to repay it gradually. Why demand it all at once? We're no longer family. I don't need to be considerate." That's when my mother-in-law let out a screech, furious at my husband. "You caused this with your affair. You should pay it instead of me." "Why me? We're retired. Our pension won't cover it. If you want to stay in my house, listen to me." Of course, she couldn't pay the $39,500. And my husband was unemployed at the time. "I'm going to live with Laura, so I won't pay." "Is that your mistress?" Tired of this back and forth, I decided to end it. Don't think it stops at $39,500. I'm also demanding $113,000 from both you and your mistress as compensation. And don't forget child support. "What? You can't do that." "It's only fair. It's the price for neglecting your kids and fooling around." "Where's the proof I cheated?" "Have you already forgotten you just admitted you're moving in with Laura?" I sighed and handed him the stack of evidence I'd gathered. I felt sick just looking at these. The photos were from his social media, showing him kissing and hugging his mistress. My lawyer had seen them too, and they were undeniable. "Why do you have these?" "I found your social media online. It's pathetic you thought no one would find it." My foolish husband had left his account open for the public, posting carefree photos. It was surprising that someone so clueless about technology would be so careless, but it made gathering evidence of his infidelity easy. My in-laws were stunned, staring at him with their mouths open. "All right, it's time for you to leave. I need to pick up the kids." "At least don't go after Laura for compensation." "What if she leaves me?" "I don't care." Since the situation wasn't getting better, I kicked the 3 of them out. "Open up, help me. I didn't know about the debt. I could hear my husband yelling through the door for a while. "I'll call the police." At that, they finally left, dejected. A year has passed since then, and after paying me compensation, the mistress disappeared. Now my ex-husband, stuck living with his parents, was pressured to cover the $39,500, so he borrowed from a shady dealer. I got my money back quickly, but he's still on the hook for the $113,000 in compensation and $330 in monthly child support. He's earning his daily wage doing manual labor from morning till night. The interest on his debt is piling up, and he might never repay it in his lifetime. But that's not my concern. "Mommy, hurry up, or we'll be late." "Oops, my daughters are calling. Time to head to the daycare. They're growing up so fast."